All right, good morning, ladies. Nick Partapillo here again. This week we're going over some little awkward lies that you find on the golf course. Last few weeks we've been covering some pretty stock stuff, but obviously once you get out on the course, everything's not a perfectly flat lie. So I've got my buddy Ben here. He's going to be kind of showing us how to hit some different shots here. The first one you'll see we're going over here is the ball above your feet. So a couple little things we'll do in setup before we even get over the ball is you're going to want to take a little more club. Just because when we get over the ball, as you can see, when he addresses this ball is actually a little closer to him. So what we're going to do, if you can tell, Ben's going to choke down a little bit, and all of a sudden that 9-iron that he might have in his hand is turned into a pitching wedge just because we've got it choked down a little bit. One thing this will do is help make it a little easier to swing, so you don't feel like you're super far away. You can be a little more controlled. And then the other thing too is with a ball above your feet lie, it's going to want to go left and curve left. So it's naturally going to start a little left of our target, and it's going to keep kind of curving left. So I think for here, if our goal is to hit it to that tree out there, if you can see in the video, what he's going to do is aim a little right and then just kind of make a natural swing, knowing that, again, this ball is going to kind of curve left and start left. So the big thing is, like you said, you can see he's choked down a little bit, aimed a little right, and he's going to plan for this ball to hook a little left. Pretty close. Yeah. So that's kind of the basics for a ball above your feet lie, right? So big things we're going to do, take a little more club, choke down, and aim a little right of our target because we know that ball is going to start left and curve left. All right. We'll be going over some other lies, but that's kind of the basics for a ball above your feet lie. All right, ladies, now we'll be going over another type of lie you'll see out on the golf course here. This one is ball below your feet. So we just kind of went over ball above your feet. This one's going to be a little different. So like you said, kind of like how when the ball was above our feet, the ball was closer to us, kind of the opposite on this one. The ball is going to be a little farther away. So again, we're going to want to take a little more club on this one as well. And what you're going to see Ben do here when he sets up to it is he's going to kind of almost sit, just because, like you said, the ball's farther away from us. So we're going to have to sit into this ball to get a little closer. So when you watch him set up, he's going to get really a little more squatted than you'd see for like a normal shot. And then also too, the big key on this one, I see it all the time with a lot of people, is when we get in that sit stance, they kind of get taller, and we do that. So what happens is if you get a little taller when the ball's farther away, what's going to happen? We're going to hit the top of the ball with the bottom of the club. So really important, because we're kind of staying a little more seated in this swing and kind of staying there. That's why we're going to take a little more club. And so we want to stay in that form all the way through. And then the other thing with alignment for a ball below your feet lie is it's going to want to start right and kind of fade right. So for this one, we're going to aim a little left of our desired target, knowing that that ball is going to want to kind of go a little right. So kind of flip-flop from our ball above our feet lie. So like you see with Ben, he's nice and seated. He's going to stay in that form all the way through. He set up a little left of his target, knowing that this ball is going to push right and kind of keep fading right. So we'll see with the swing here for him. Nice. Yeah, good swing, Ben. So that one started right, kind of kept fading there. But yeah, you watched him make that swing. Like you said, we were in that seated, and we stayed that way all the way through. We don't want to get taller because, again, the ball's farther away from us. We're going to end up missing that. So we got 2 more lies to go over, but that's how you hit a ball below your feet lie. All right, ladies. So the third of our 4 kind of different lies we see on the golf course is a downhill lie. So this is one where the ball is pretty even with us. It's not uphill, or it's not above our feet or below our feet, but we're hitting on a slope that's kind of going this way. So a couple key tips for this one. This ball is going to want to come out a little lower and kind of want to run out a little more. So if we're trying to hit a shot like this into the green, we're probably going to take a little less club because we want a little loft, because naturally the way when we're on a slope like this, it's going to want to come out a little lower. So the big tips, and we'll kind of go over the uphill lie too, but with the downhill lie, we want to match our hips and our shoulders to whatever lie we're on. So for a downhill lie, you're going to see Ben, he's going to match his shoulders and his hips to be kind of with that lie like this, right? And so what we're going to see is a little wider stance, and he's going to match those shoulders and his hips to that line. And then he's just going to feel that club kind of naturally swing with the slope here, right? So those are the big keys. So we've got a little less club because, again, it's going to want to come out really low. So we took a little more club, and we're going to see this ball try to get a little more height on it. But like you said, the big key with this one is those shoulders and those hips lined up with that slope. So let's see him make this swing here. Good. Yeah. So he had a 9-iron in his hand. That's probably a little lower than his 9-iron naturally goes, just because of how that slope is set up. So the big key with the downhill lie is for you is, like I said, let's set up and make sure a little wider stance and make sure those hips and those shoulders are matching that slope, and then just make your swing naturally in line with that slope. All right, so we got one more lie to cover, but that's how you hit a downhill lie. All right, ladies, so this is our fourth and our final of our kind of awkward lies here. This is the uphill lie. So kind of pretty much the complete opposite of the downhill lie, but kind of keeping some of those same keys. So you're gonna see Ben set up to this ball. Just like on our downhill lie, we're gonna want our shoulders and our hips to match the angle of the hill we're on. So if you look here, his shoulders are pointed up, his hips are pointed up like that. So that's perfect. That's exactly how we want to set up to this ball. In terms of club selection, just because we're naturally going to be a little on this upslope and hitting this ball on this upslope, the ball's going to want to launch really high in the air, right? And probably not go as far. So we're going to take a little longer club to kind of counteract that, right? So if you normally hit an 8-iron into this yardage, we're going to probably take like a 7 or a 6-iron, just because, again, because of how we're lining up on this slope and how high the ball is going to launch, it's going to go a lot higher and a lot shorter. So Ben, if you want to set up again for me, again, the big things are that ball position is going to be a little more forward, his shoulders and his hips are matched perfectly, and then he's going to make his swing, and I'm not going to have him hit into hole 16 over here, but we'd have some very upset members over on the left here. But that is exactly how you would do that, is you'd set up here, matching the hips, matching the shoulders, little longer club, and make that swing matching that slope, and you'll end up pretty good. Can't wait to see you all this afternoon. We'll cover this a little more, but that's kind of the basics to the 4 different awkward lies you'll find out on the golf course.